Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to answer another question from a community member. Pew Explosions dropped a comment talking about esports coming to Splinterlands and what that would mean, and just generalized thoughts around that. I want to spend a few minutes talking about that today. I think it's a great topic, and I do think it's coming. So let's talk about what it could mean, how it could influence the economy. Is it a good thing, a bad thing, and everything in between. Okay, before we do though, my name is Dwayne Cunningham and I go by Infidel 1258. Usually people just call me 12. And we cover Splinterlands all day, every day, because it's changed my life and I think it can change yours. And so one of the exciting things about how it's changing lives is actually esports conversation, because I think this game is growing in terms of user base and in terms of economy, the size of the economy, the number of people contributing into the economy, extracting from the economy. All of that is going to lead into more and more eyes, which is going to attract, which is essentially more and more viewers, right? That would have appetite for seeing competitive Splinterlands games. In fact, we already see YouTube channels featuring tournaments like Luke Plays, who I love. Guys, check out Luke. Luke's got that tournament happening. I've seen Bulldog do tourneys. I run tournaments. People have an appetite already for competitive Splinterlands action. And I've personally watched esports events, Overwatch, League of Legends. And so I think that there's tons of space and lane for this to be a future part of Splinterlands. And that's because, one, I think the game is fun, and two, because I think it's continuing to grow. But also, I do have, I guess, some reservations or concerns or questions around what that would look like. And I think we need to talk about how Chatter from Splinterlands has been at the last couple of town halls. If you listen to Chatter speak, he talks about how this is what we're doing in 2022. They're going to do a year-long tournament, a mega tournament with, I think, $50,000 prize at the end of the tournament, at the end of the year. And how it's going to work is there's going to be many weekly tournaments that you can participate in, and achievement in the tournaments is going to give you a point total, which is going to carry you forward into future tournaments throughout the year. And then by the end, the best performers will have that opportunity to do to compete for that 50 grand. I think that's awesome. I think that's exciting. I think that means another way to earn revenue through your time and attention within Splinterlands. But you need to have the deck. You need to have the cards. And we already know from so many people's concerns, criticisms, feedback, that there's a big community of people that feel that this game's already too expensive. And I think, unfortunately, this is kind of the I guess, concern I have around it. I believe that this game will continue to grow. I believe that the costs around the cards will continue to go up. I do think there will always be new packs, and those packs will be reasonably affordable for players. But if you wanted to come in and buy 1,000 Chaos Legion packs, that's for $4,000 US. I believe in the long run that would be an investment you would be glad you made. But I also think confidently most people can't make that sort of investment. And so how do we grow this economy as we start to how do we keep this game in a playable state despite excitement around what is clearly going to drive excitement? Esports is going to drive viewership. Viewership is going to incentivize participation. Participation is going to drive up cards and packs and on and on. And he's talking about Team Liquid and maybe getting them over here, which would be crazy because they're a very big guild that crosses various games. And that would be so much attention, and that would be so much excitement. And I think stuff like this is going to for sure happen. When I spoke with Agro the other day about what his biggest, most exciting point that he was looking forward to in 2022, he said partnerships. And he said there were some big ones he was looking forward to announcing really soon that were already done, that were already inked and I guess ready to go, but they hadn't announced them yet. And so to me, this is happening. And I think we need to now interpret what that means and position ourselves accordingly. For me, this is part of the growth strategy for this game, and part of I see the trajectory for Splinterlands being gigantic and huge and landing us in a wonderful, exciting new place. But it's not going to be cheaper than it was 3 years ago. Like the game pays players in a meaningful way over a long enough time horizon. That's what Splinterlands is and does. And all players need to understand that that is an attractive use case that the world is discovering and will continually discover increasingly moving forward. We haven't begun to fully grow into what we're going to be ultimately. And that growth is exciting and a huge opportunity for you and for me, but it also means, and part of that picture is going to be this esports thing blowing up, because I think it will. I think it absolutely will. Especially wrapped in the the opportunity to earn, like these big guilds coming in with the an opportunity to buy land and extract value from that, or to buy big decks and to attract excellent players with no money to be scholarships. All of that is going to be a revenue sharing opportunity, which they're going to want a piece of, but they maybe don't know about yet. So it's coming, it's happening, and now we need to be ready for what the implications of that are, which is namely growth in the economy. Cards 3 years ago were less than a penny. They're not anymore. Even the cheapest cards are 6 cents, and that's 12x. And summoners are $5, per BCX, and you need 100 of them to get a max level copy. If you think this game is going where I'm describing to you, then you need to dollar cost average in to your extent possible. Now, your story might be that it's $5 a month, or maybe it's $500 a month that you can afford. But in my opinion, this thing is aiming huge, and I think it's going to hit its mark. And so if you agree that that's so, and if you think that big names like Liquid and Esports are going to be successful here at Splinterlands, which I think, then I think you simultaneously have to say, well, that's a great investment. How do I get more of this asset, whether it's land or cards or packs or SPS, or, you know what I mean? And so the question to me isn't, the question is not, will esports be successful within Splinterlands? That's a hard yes to me. The question is, how do we run with that to put ourselves in a maximize the reward that we're going to receive out of this investment, knowing that future? And I would say acquiring as many of the assets as you're capable of doing, whether that is contributing, monthly investment of extra value that you can afford to do, or even if it's just spending your time and attention in playing the game to get whatever trivial rewards you're able to squeeze out of Bronze 3. I know that they're trivial is the right word. They're trivial. You're going to get maybe one card a season. You're going to get, no DECs per victory, right? That's so, or maybe there's DEC per victory, but there's not DEC inside your loot chests. It seems trivial, I know, but even that is an opportunity to receive something. And if this game has the trajectory I'm describing to you, and if esports is coming and it's going to be the success I believe it will be, that's going to draw the world attention. And then there's going to be increase, like you think 6 cents is bad for the cheapest card in the game. I think, one day we're going to be $1 for the cheapest card, and that'll just be normal. That's how I feel about this game. That's the confidence I have with this thing, and that's why I'm so deeply invested in it, and that's why I do daily content videos around this thing, because to me, this game is life-changing. And that doesn't mean over, a few days or weeks or even months, but over the course of long enough time horizon, which usually in my mind is 3-4 years, because that's the cycle of cryptocurrency bull runs, usually 4 years. And so if you started investing time now and extracting those trivial rewards, I believe that would snowball into something very significant with the right thinking and thoughtfulness and commitment on your part. It doesn't necessarily involve extra money from your pocket into the game, aside from the $10 starter pack, but absolutely any sort of extra money you can muster is going to get that ball rolling faster. And I guess in conclusion, I just want to make sure I've tackled everything he addressed here. He talks about how, specifically Team Liquid would be exciting, and he's mentioned to them, and Liquid has talked about how they would like to get into crypto-based competitive games. And just in conclusion, I kind of touched on this, but I didn't fully. He talks about how it would be very interesting if they came in into an established guild and bought up a bunch of cards. This is my point. This is like the underpinning of my whole point, that they would do this. They would come in and they would buy land, and they would buy, you know, a crazy amount of packs, and they would buy, you know, tons of summoners that are relatively inexpensive, because they themselves would be able to move the market with their purchase. And then knowing when they negotiated some sort of deal with Splinterlands, which is the case that when these big guilds come forward and do this, these big communities, they get these special deals because it's going to incentivize future growth within the game. That would lead to a further growth of those values. And so, yes, they would buy a bunch of cards. Yes, they would buy a ton of packs. Yes, they would come on and buy, you know, land, because they'd want to grow that revenue sharing opportunity for their guild. And whether it's Liquid or somebody altogether different, my view is that this is happening and the writing's on the wall. So prepare accordingly. That's how I view it. And I wonder what you guys think. If you watch till the end of the video, make sure that you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And whenever you leave comments, make sure you leave IGN and your in-game name. And I will do random, from time to time, I'll do random comment draws and handle some SPS as a thank you to you guys. Appreciate you. Have an amazing day. God bless.